the red horse makes the pathway for the black horse, which is, we can touch on if you like, the black horse.
I think we should. The red horse runs for a reasonably short period of time, basically for, we're not too sure exactly, but probably 6 to 10 months. And then the black horse will come to the fore. We know that the red horse is the 10 kings mentioned in Daniel, and mentioned in Revelation. And we know that 3 of those are going to be overthrown. And I think we've said this before, the Antichrist will come to the fore out of those 10 kings, or be the 11th one, and he's going to be riding the black horse, and that is going to be a pretty terrible time as well. The symbolism for him is he's got a set of scales, and it's going to be a time of famine. You might actually like to read that, Murray, because I think it's quite interesting.
And when he opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, "Come and see." And I beheld, and lo, a black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. Would you like me to read that a little bit further?
Yes, carry on, I think. Just read
now
a bit.
It gets interesting, because we were about to embark on something here, but we've changed our minds because we read this chapter. And I heard a voice in the midst of the 4 beasts say, "A measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and the wine." So, the thing that stumbled us was, I heard a voice in the midst of the 4 beasts. So it wasn't the 4 beasts, it wasn't John. Who was that voice? Okay, so we believe it's Jesus, but we can't be sure, and we try and stick to scripture here. So we're going to go away and have a little bit of a study on this one, and next week when we continue on the black horse, we'll know exactly who is speaking there. I'll read that little bit again.
Yeah, and also just mention, after you've read it, there's a dual meaning to it, different to what I think the traditionalists have been teaching, or potentially.
And this is Revelation 6:6, and I heard a voice in the midst of the 4 beasts say. So that's another voice in the throne room, in the midst of the beasts. So we'll see where that goes.
Right, and he's addressing, when he's talking about the oil and the wine, traditionalists would say that that is to make sure that the elites who are controlling the world are looked after. But if it's coming from Jesus, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And that's a little quandary we've got, and we will, next week when we come back, we will have analysed this a lot more, and we'll give you a definitive answer as to what we believe. And obviously, if you've got any doubts about what we say, you're welcome to comment, and we love to be corrected anyway. But this is something that's just come out of left field, but I've never heard anybody talking about the oil and the wine as actually being possibly what we tend to think it is, God's people, and that's a whole different thing.
Yeah, but because here's a command coming from the throne room.
It is a command. It is a command. So, yeah.
And I heard a voice in the midst of the 4 beasts say, "A measure of wheat, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and the wine." So that's a command coming from the throne room.
Person, isn't
an
it?
Authority. That's got to be Jesus, I reckon.
More and more. And
there's no way that Jesus would say, "Don't hurt the elites of the world." He'd say, "Get them."
Yes.
He's talking about his people. Whether it's the Israelites or whatever, we'll figure it out. But he's not talking about the elites of the world, because Jesus would not stand up for them, especially in the throne room.
So anyway, it's food for thought for anybody who's watching to go and read those verses and actually form your own opinion, because I think it's something which is novel. We haven't actually seen this before or read it this way before, because like many things in the Bible, we've been caught by following the traditionalists and not actually reading the actual word for word of the Bible. And what we've mentioned before...
We missed that, didn't we?
We missed it. Yep. And when you come across that word "and," we just emphasize this. When you see the word "and" in the Bible, it generally means what's coming after it is a statement, a totally independent statement, which has got a totally different meaning to what probably previous verses have got. So we'd suggest that read it and follow it exactly as we're suggesting, and very precisely, and interested to see what you come up with. But I'd be very confident you'll come up with a different point of view on this one.
We'd like your views on it.
Yes. Yes, really actually leave it in the comments. Leave it in the comments section if you've got any views right now, because it will help us with discerning it as well. We'd much appreciate it.
That's Revelation 6:6. The third seal.
So the black horse is, from the point of view of where we're coming from, we believe it starts in 2029. The black horse will run to the time of when the daily sacrifice finishes, or around that time, which will be 2032. We can actually work that one out, and for people who haven't been following us, if we go right back to the 7th of June 1967, run through 70 years, comes up at the June 2036, take off 7 years, 2029. That's the start of the final 7 years. Halfway through is when the daily sacrifice stops. And so that's where we get to 2032, October 2032.